Hey you guys, I am super excited to share this video with you today because I just got a makeover by my very good friend Sheila Ybarra here in Houston with Makeup by Sheila. And I'm telling you what, she pulls out all the tips and tricks to show you how to do this because it took the whole bag of tricks to make me look like this. So my wonderful friend, I thank you for having us and you guys are in for it.
Tammy Pay, let's find the unicorn in you.
Okay, so is your skin oily, T-zone oily, or dry? That's important because that's going to affect what type of moisturizer and primer I use.
It's definitely not oily. It would come closer to T-zone oil, but I think it's more on the dry side.
Okay, so
the
do
older
you
I've
get
gotten,
shiny at all through your midsection?
You know, I used to, but I find that sometimes 5 hours later, I really don't need more powder.
Okay.
So that's pretty dry.
Yeah, that's a telltale sign. So if you were oily, you would apply oil-free moisturizer like on the outer perimeter first and then do your T-zone last.
Okay.
But now we're just going to use like a hydrating moisturizer all over the face, but we're not going to put it in the eye bed. Okay. So we're not going to put it from the lashes to the eyebrow. We're just going to put it all over the face. You can put it underneath the eyes. Okay. Yeah, and I prefer you to moisturize your ears too and your neck.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to use...
No dry ears, right?
Yeah.
This is what's...
as you start aging, the ears start to fold in.
Yeah, what's up with that?
So you have to make sure you're hydrating them.
Why do I have these horrible creases on my ears that look like my ears got ripped out, but they're wrinkles.
Yeah, so you have to hydrate them. And actually something that's super popular nowadays is hyaluronic acid injections, so filler injections.
I've been thinking about that.
Yeah,
my
and
ears
you
don't
can
look good.
actually fill them at the bottom to help support your earring.
I love that.
Yeah, it's quite interesting, right?
Good.
So I'm just going to take a super hydrating moisturizer. I'll put it in your hand,
right.
And you can put that all over your face. I'm doing about 3 pumps.
Okay.
So you're going to apply it everywhere. Good, underneath the eyes.
Including my ears.
Your ears, yeah, just not in your eye bed.
Okay, just not the eye. Neck for sure, because we all know our age shows in our neck and our hands
first. Does.
And apparently our earlobes.
And I'm going to use still an anti-aging neck cream. And I like to put that on just like with a Q-tip because you don't need that much, like a size of a pea.
Okay.
Good. And go ahead and apply that in your neck. You should be applying neck cream day and night.
Amen.
Neck cream's a little bit different from everyday moisturizer. It's not water-based, and it should always be in a jar.
Okay.
You don't want to use eye cream, though, during the day because it will cause your eyeshadow to crease.
And I got enough creasing with my eyeshadow.
Yeah, we don't...
With the wrinkles, it gets the creasing anyway, right?
Yeah, so we don't have any pores in our eyelids.
Okay.
And the problem is once you apply that moisturizer, the eye bed is warm. So let's say you apply concealer and then powder and then foundation. That moisturizer is going to cut right through because it's just sitting on the upper epidermis of the skin.
Okay.
So you want to make sure you do all your treatments and all your moisturizing, deep moisturizing on your eye bed at nighttime only.
Okay, so you can do it, but only at nighttime, not when you're wearing makeup.
Exactly, yeah. But neck cream you can wear day and night.
Perfect.
Okay. All right.
I need some neck cream. That's good.
Yes.
Oh, then it feels wonderful.
Doesn't it?
Yeah.
All right. So since you told me that you have dry skin, I also want to smooth out your skin. So I'm going to use a primer called Skin Smoother. We're going to apply it all over the skin. Now, it's important to prime your face before you apply your foundation. And you can actually still wear primer even if you're not wearing any foundation.
Okay.
Because let's say if you're wearing a hydrating primer, it has silicone in it and will help coat and lock in moisturizer.
Perfect.
Right? So you can still wear Skin Smoother or something, and still primer on top to help even out the skin tone, even if you're not wearing foundation.
Okay.
So primer is important because primer is like if you were priming a wall or a piece of furniture before you paint it, it's going to help imperfections.
Okay.
Okay, it's going to help smooth it out.
I like it.
So I'll do one side of your face, and I'll let you kind of do the other side. And I'm not going to use a lot, just a little bit. Okay, I'm right-handed, so I'll put it on this side. So you kind of want to tap it out first.
Okay.
And then rub it in a circular motion all over.
Okay. Under the eye again, but not in the eye bed, right?
Exactly.
Same thing. Okay.
And then I do want you to also, I'm going to give you a little bit more. I want you to bring it down your neck and chin too for me. It should have a soft velvet feel on top of the skin. Yeah. And you should feel it kind of lock in moisture. And then don't forget your ears.
Yes. Again.
Don't forget your ears. Yeah. All right. So now that we primed the skin, we're going to put foundation all over.
Okay.
You want to make sure when you're matching your foundation, did you notice earlier I came over here and I kind of pulled down your shirt because I'm trying to make sure I match you here.
Okay.
All right. So you have a little bit of a spray tan, so I want to make sure I warm you up just a little bit. I'm using my HD foundation. Okay. This HD foundation is a little different from traditional foundation. It's super thin. It looks and kind of feels like water. It is waterproof. And non-transferable. I prefer to put it into a tray. Okay. You want to make sure not to put it on granite or marble because it's porous.
Well, true.
Yeah, and
sink in.
It'll sink in, so you never want to put your foundation there.
Okay.
Have you ever used a beauty blender before?
Is that the sponge kind of thing?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. No.
Okay, we'll talk a little bit about that. So it's best to put on your foundation with a stippling brush. It'll give you more of an airbrush effect. Okay. Do you see these little dots right here? So the black bristles are supporting bristles, and the white bristles are the ones you're supposed to use. Okay. So whenever you're using the brush, you just want to lightly buff it using the white bristles. You never want to press very hard. Gotcha. And now the new thing is beauty blender. So I know you probably remember years ago the latex sponges you'd buy in the big bags. You just throw them out. Well, latex they find would leave stripes on top of the skin because it has latex in it. But this is a cotton sponge. I want you to feel it. You wet them with water, and they expand to twice or half their size when you get them. So when you get them,
been dampened.
It's already been dampened, yeah. So when you get them, they're very small, and then they expand. Okay. It's important to squeeze out all the water. But if you think behind the science of this, it's really smart because since there's water inside, when you go to press your foundation into it, the water stops the foundation from absorbing into the sponge. So you're going to not use as much foundation. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this sponge. I'm going to show you both applications. Okay. All right. Just so you can kind of see. So if you are using this one, you are going to get a thinner, like dewier look. And then if you want to use a sponge, you're going to get a little bit more coverage. Okay. So I would say use a sponge if you know you have a special event or you're going to take pictures or, you have Christmas pictures coming up, that kind of thing for the holidays. You got holiday parties. Yeah, a little bit heavier. And it's going to give you more of a flawless finish. Super. Okay. So I'll show you both. Did you want to do it yourself?
No, you can do it.
Okay.
Hey, I gotta film. I can go back and watch. I'm good. So.
All right. So you're gonna notice I'm just gonna take this and just to put a couple drops, like less than a quarter. You see, it's kind of like watery. Yeah. And I'm just gonna take the tip of the sponge, and this is called a stippling sponge, and I'm just going to stipple it like if you're sponging a wall with paint, like that. Gotcha. And you don't need a lot of foundation. You only need a little bit, and I'm going to stipple it on top of the skin first, which is lightly patting it and kind of spreading it out first. And then once I run out, I'm going to buff it. And yes, I do the ears. Because if your hair is behind, I want them to match. Yeah. I want the complexion to match all the way up. And I prefer to go in a zigzag motion, back and forth. And I'm not trying to force the foundation into the skin. Yeah. I just want it to even out the skin tone. I'm not looking for a really heavy coverage. So again, I'm
sure choosing color is one of the things people ask you about a lot as well.
Yes, I actually get people. I've been doing it a long time, so now you can actually just send me a picture in natural light.
I bet.
And I can match you.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I've been doing it for a pretty long time. So, and people are like, "Oh my gosh, that foundation matched me perfectly."
I love that. Yeah, because that's a real art.
Yeah. Look up for me. You have to be careful too if you're in like a department store. The lighting is so horrible.
Well, that's a good point.
Yeah, so it's best to, let's say if someone's going to match you up, step outside and pull out a compact and make sure that you're matched. Yeah. So again, I'm going to stipple out everywhere.
And while you're doing that, you might talk about something that I'm horrible at, which is washing my brushes. Oh. Okay. So how often do you recommend all this get cleaned
Once a week, you should wash your brushes. My day's Sunday. Like after church, I come home, I wash my brushes. You want to kind of put it in a dispenser, a soap dispenser, and 50-50 Blue Dawn soap, just dish soap. Oh. It's actually the best to wash your brushes
Dawn dishwashing?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Blue color?
The blue one's actually the
Blue
best
Dawn,
one.
okay.
Yeah, look out for me.
See, I thought that sounded really fancy, like Blue Dawn. I was like, wait a minute. What?
No.
We're saying Dawn soap, as we'd say.
Yeah, just plain
Really?
Dawn soap.
So that's what you use to wash them out,
Yes.
that and water.
Yep, that and water.
And you dry them out good?
Yeah. You notice whenever they like do any type of like animal rescue, they always
That's true.
clean the
I've seen those
animals, right,
commercials,
with
yeah.
Blue Dawn soap because it's gentle on the feathers and onto their skin. They won't itch or irritate, but it's also great for your brushes because they won't become flaky, dry, and brittle.
And brushes are an investment, right? I mean, you need to take care of them.
Yeah, so I like to use the analogy. If you were painting a piece of furniture or your wall, people always go out and buy new, fresh brushes because they know it affects the finish.
Yes.
So it's important that you have a really great brush whenever you're putting it. It should be clean.
Yeah.
The same thing you would have if you were painting your wall. You would have a clean brush.
Good point.
Right.
Okay, I'm convicted. I'm going to do better now.
Yes. All right, we're going to highlight the face. So once you put, you don't have to highlight if you don't want to. So you may call it concealer, right?
Yeah.
But we call it highlight. So what we're doing is trying to add more dimension to your face. So right now when we apply makeup onto the skin, it's just very one-dimensional. So it's very, very flat. And your next step would be highlighting. Okay. But before I get on to that, I just wanted to show you, just to kind of show you the Beauty Blender real fast.
Yeah.
All right. So.
And that gives a little heavier coverage.
Yeah, it gives a little heavier coverage.
So this other one might be just if you're going to, run into the office, do some basic work. But if you're
like daily.
Photos are a big deal.
So this is damp, and you can
No
hear
liquid
the
coming out.
water, but there's no water dripping.
Okay.
It doesn't matter if it's hot or cold.
Okay.
The pointier side is more or less for places that you want to put like in tight spaces, like the corner of the eyes, the nose, that kind of thing. And then the flat side is for flat surfaces. So what you would do is you would just take the sponge and you would stipple it, just like we did earlier. And I like to use the analogy that you have to act like you're patting a baby's back.
Okay.
So you would go like this, back and forth, on top of the skin.
You're kind of zigzagging it?
Yeah. And it's going to give you definitely a more flawless finish, meaning that you will not see a pimple, a freckle. You will not see
I like that.
anything. It will literally look flawless.
Nice.
You just want to do the same movement, no wiping, because it's very similar to a dish sponge. If you wipe this sponge at all, like this, it takes everything away. Right?
Yeah.
So it would take your foundation, it would take your
Smear it
primer,
right off, wouldn't
it would smear it right off.
Okay.
So in order to do this, you want to bounce it on top of the skin. So you're like bouncing it off. So I always say, act like you're, patting a baby's back.
Okay.
You would never wipe. A lot of times people try a beauty blender and they get so frustrated because they're like, oh, I hated it.
Because they're smearing.
They're doing this with it, wiping with it. And what you want to do is just pounce it on top of the skin.
Perfect.
Yeah. Any questions about that? It feels good too, right?
Yeah.
I think.
No, it really does. It's
It's nice and cool.
I like it.
Yeah.
But it's good you have options because everyone has their lighter makeup days and then they're heavier going out on the town doing something special.
Absolutely.
Days, right?
Yeah. So now we're going to do some highlighter on the skin. Now, your highlighter should be like 2 shades lighter than your foundation.
Okay.
Right? Since you got a little tan today,
Yeah.
I'm going to use our highlighter in medium. And you hear me turning it because I'm just kind of turning it around.
Kind of
This
priming
is-
the pumper.
Yeah. I'm just rolling it, making sure it's on there. Yeah. All right. So wherever you want to highlight, wherever you want to lift. So obviously underneath the eyes are always going to be the first location. And a good rule to remember is try to create a triangle. So I'm going to start the inner corner part of the eye, the top of the cheek. Look at for me. Good. And right underneath the eye. It's kind of like a shape of a triangle, right? Like that. And by the way, you can use the Beauty Blender on this too.
Okay.
It doesn't matter that you just used it for the foundation. It won't matter.
Okay.
So just like that. Now, if the temples are dipped, we're going to highlight those too.
Yeah.
So yours are a little dip. That will help pull those out.
Because I need to go get some more filler. I'm sinking in on sides of my head.
Aging sucks.
It happens, right?
Okay.
No, I told you what Celia, is helping us film this. My
Yes.
best statement of all time. I went one time to get some Botox and filler done. And I was writing the check, and it's horribly expensive.
Yeah.
And she just about
All drugs
choked.
expensive.
She was in high school. She about choked when she heard it. And I looked at her, I said, getting old is very expensive.
It is.
And she looked at me, she goes, I'm pretty sure getting old's free. I think it's staying young that's expensive.
You're exactly right. You're exactly
was like, that is
right.
perfect. Yeah.
You're exactly right.
Getting those for free.
Trying to stay young.
Yes.
I'm fighting it. All right, so a lot of us want to make our noses skinnier or taller or straighter. You would create like a little martini glass shape. Well, just a straight nose, just on the top. If you highlight it, it's going to make it look taller on the bridge. And then right here, when we have these two little lines in here, they call them the 11s. We want to highlight those. So if you look at the highlighter, it's going to be kind of the shape of a martini glass.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Like that. That's going to get rid of those 11s. In order to elongate the face, and this is really great too if you're starting to get jowls like on the side, you want to kind of pull that chin a little bit forward, we're going to highlight it. Now let's say you want the top lip to look fuller. You can actually highlight the entire top ridge of the lip as well, and the two lines that connect to the cupid's bow. And that will make the top lip appear bigger with no injections. That's cheap.
Yeah, I like that.
So let me show you how the Beauty Blender works. I'm just going to take the point of it, and we're just going to stipple. And again, I'm pouncing it, right?
You are.
Look out for me. I'm not pressing
No,
hard.
not at all.
I'm going to go up to your temple. And I want you to imagine like a V-shape highlight. Like from the temple, the top of the cheek, and down. So I'm going to bring it down like I'm coming in towards the mouth.
Okay.
And again, just stippling it. Look up for me. Thank you. You're not going to press hard, and you're not going to swipe down. All you're going to do is pat. You really want to kind of melt that highlighter in, and we're not looking for heavy, thick concealer underneath the eyes. That's the reason why I made sure to use a cream.
Okay.
If you are oily in that area, you would not want to use a cream. You'd want to use a matte highlighter.
Okay.
Yeah. You're not, but if you are, we would use a matte highlighter.
Well, and one of the things that Sheila and I were talking about in the car is, I mean, it's great that you, if you live in or near Houston or, Texas, 4 hours is near. It's a big state, so there's no problem for us. But you were mentioning that you even teach lessons for people that maybe can't get here. I mean, how do you help them? Do you have
So I
ways?
do Skype lessons.
Okay.
And I get a picture of them with no makeup on.
Okay.
And then I send them all my makeup. And then we do step-by-step via Skype. So they get all the brushes as well. And I'll tell them, pick up this brush, and this is how you're going to apply it. And it's really wonderful. Yeah. Look out for me. Yeah, people all over the world.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
I was so glad when you told me that because I thought people are going to see this and be upset if they can't get to you, or it's going to be a while before they end up in this area. Because I have, friends in California will be watching, and all kinds of places. I have some friends in England that'll be watching, but now they
I've
know
got
they
a
can
lot
Skype.
of clients in Europe.
Do you?
Lots of them. Yes.
I love it. It's technological age, right? We can do it all.
It's so wonderful to be able to teach them that. Yeah.
Right. And this gorgeous studio is in your gorgeous home. What a neat deal is that?
I love it. The whole bottom floor of my house is all
It's a
studio
nice
and
commute,
office.
isn't it?
Yeah. 20 steps.
Yep. That's good.
All right. So you can tell your face is two-dimensional right now. It's kind of warm on the outer perimeter and light in the center. So we're gonna use two different powders. A see-through, like transparent powder, and then a little warmer. So this one we're going to set in your highlighted areas, and the warmer is like your everyday color. We're going to use that on the outer perimeter. So that way we can still keep the two dimensions.
Makes sense.
Right? I would not want to use the dark underneath the eyes after I just got done lightening
You would
them.
undo the effect.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Makes
So
sense.
I'm just going to use a highlight brush, which is kind of pointy.
All right.
Very similar to our sponge we just used. And this is just a transparent highlight powder. I'm going to tap out. You don't need a lot. Chin down for me and look up. Great. I'm just going to lightly pat that.
Translucent lighter powder in the lighter areas where the highlights, right?
Yes, exactly. Okay. Yeah, and since it's see-through, if you were to get it, I put it on here on purpose just so you can see if it gets kind of powdery, it won't matter because it's completely see-through. So you would just
Flick it away.
exactly
Flick it away.
flick it away. Look out. Thank you. So I'm just going to set only the highlighted areas. Not going to forget the top of the lip too, since
I got collagen injections once. I got collagen injections one time in my lips, mainly because I always my whole life had big lips. But as we get older, they
you
get
lose
thinner.
the volume. You're exactly right.
But it drove me.
Unfortunately,
Well,
our
I hate
entire
that,
face,
right?
yeah, our entire face will lose volume.
But the only things that bothered me, I felt like it made it harder. I felt funny smiling for the longest time.
Oh, because it was firm.
It was something. I mean, it looked great. It was fine. But
Yes.
I felt like I couldn't smile right, and I was like, okay,
Really?
yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe either I didn't have it done right, or I just wasn't used to it.
You probably don't need much. But now you could even use your own PRP.
Which
is natural. So PRP is platelet-rich plasma. So when they take your blood, they would draw blood and spin it.
I've seen you do this. Is
Yes.
it the vampire facial?
It's very similar.
Or
Yeah,
it's in that
yeah.
vein?
It's kind of in
No
that
pun
lane.
intended.
It's in
The
that
vein.
yes. It's definitely in that lane. So what you would do is when they spin it, your platelet-rich plasma comes up to the top. And it's basically like using your own collagen, and you would use that as an injectable filler instead of filler. That's what I prefer to use. It's just more natural. All right, so I'm going to take the all-over powder, which is bamboo, and set it with the powder brush on the outer perimeter, the areas that are not highlighted.
Non-highlighted.
Non-highlighted areas, yeah. Because I wouldn't want to make your highlighted areas warm after I just got done lightening them up.
I'm just so impressed that you can look at even me and choose the photos, much less a photograph. I think that's so great. So you have people probably, like you said, go outside in the natural light.
As long as I get pictures
in
in natural light, I'll be able to match.
That's great.
With no makeup on and no filters.
Yeah, right. So fancy up.
Sometimes I get like sexy pictures, like girls sending me pictures with like twirling their hair, and I'm like, okay. I didn't really need that, but okay, yeah. It's funny, right? All right, so let's talk about contouring. Everybody wants to know about contouring.
Mm-hmm.
So I want you to think, I'm going to pull out this
because it makes us look more skinny, right?
Yes.
That's the theory.
yes, it does. So contouring is anything dark you put on the skin is going to concave. It's going to pull in. So you have to be careful where you place it, because you can place it in the wrong spots. Yeah. So you could place it too high up to the cheek and collapse the cheekbone. Right? You want it like underneath the cheekbone. So we'll kind of go on where you would place it and where you would not place it.
Okay.
So since your temples are dipped, for you, we would never place it in your temples.
Yeah. Are they going to dip in more?
Exactly. They would dip in more, right? But let's say like I have a large forehead, so I have to make sure to like contour the very top of my forehead to kind of shorten it down. So that's what you would do.
Okay.
So I'm going to show you areas that will contour you at.
Let's do it.
All right. So contour brush is always going to be angled.
Okay.
Like that. That's what you want to look for. And whenever you're applying color, you don't want to apply it to the back end. You really want to apply it to the front end. Okay. So when you apply the color, you're applying it like this and not like that.
More in the tip area, not the back.
More, exactly. More on the tip area. So I'm going to show you here. This is just my new palette. I'm going to add a little bit of contour. So we're going to tap like 2 or 3 taps. And then you can either shake it out or you can tap it out like on a counter or something like that. The point of your brush should always face inwards.
Oh, okay.
Always inwards, never out. And I want you to imagine that if this is paint and I grab the paint, wherever I applied it first onto the skin would be the darkest.
Darkest, okay.
Yes. You will always apply contour to the furthest part of the face first.
Not in and out. It's out.
Yes, it's right. It's from the outer perimeter in, so we can gradient the color, like ombre the color. Yeah. So let's say on the cheek, we would start back here, and you would start blending it back. See how I'm going to make sure it's dark in the back? And then I'm going to gradient it forward. Now, how to know where to apply? People are like, where do I apply it on my cheeks? If you start right on the top of the ear, okay? And you want to stop where the mouth opens and closes. Yours is right here. So if you make a little fishy face, good. You should be stopped right there. Don't go any further. So imagine that straight line. The brush should always be in the back, so it's darkest there. And then once you're about to run out of color, you bring it forward.
I think a lot of people have a problem, I've always at least seen on TV, talking about coming too far forward.
Yes, because then it starts making you look very hollow and gaunt, like really sucked in. So again, I'm gonna tap like two or three taps. I prefer to tap 2 taps of color and then build and blend. Yeah. Instead of applying too much.
You can always add, it's to take away.
To take away is too hard. So right here on the back, I place my brush by the back of the ear, and I do like 8 or 10 strokes on the back end, and we start to run out of color. Then I bring it in. And again, if you're making that fishy face, don't come into the part that's sucked in. Okay. You want to do it to the part that's in the back. Stop there. Okay. Yeah, and stop right there. So again, I'm going to tap 2 taps. So right here on the forehead, I'm going to do a little bit into the hairline. My point is in. My brush is in. And I want you to act like you're really like pulling this into the hairline so that we can create a little dimension, some warmth on the back of the hairline.
And if somebody were kind of the opposite and had maybe a a smaller forehead than they
You
would
would
like.
not contour the top of the
If
forehead.
anything, you would highlight, I guess. What
Yes,
lighten?
you could lighten all the way up and bring your highlighter taller.
Your martini glass could be taller.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, I'm getting
because that way you can create more length on the face, right? And you would definitely highlight to the tip of the chin to make the face longer if you want to. Let's say the face is too round.
Yeah.
Right.
Because we're already shooting for what a perfect oval would be the ideal.
Yes.
So we're using the smoke and mirrors to make that happen.
That's funny. That's exactly what my husband calls it.
Is it?
Smoke and mirrors. Yes. So you'll notice here, I'm not going to touch the temples. If you think you have a habit of doing it, just kind of put your hand there.
There you go.
I'm going to come into the peak of the eyebrow right here. So don't touch the temples.
Yeah.
I am going to come to the peak of the eyebrow just a little bit, just so I can even it up with the temples and kind of push it in just a tad. Now, if you want jawline, which I don't know a woman who does not want the jawline done, they want more of a chiseled jawline. You want to hold your brush kind of like an ice cream cone. That way, you don't accidentally hold it like this and then hit the top of your jawline and collapse it. So it's better to hold it like an ice cream cone. And you want to hit the bottom of the jawline. It's going to chisel. And if you have jaws, you want to make sure to hit over the tip of them as well.
Okay.
And that will help suck them in, give you a nice skinny neck. Chin up for
Everyone
me.
likes that, yeah.
Yeah. And then you want to just take whatever's left over on your brush and brush it down the neck. And that's so that when you turn to the side, it'll give you a more chiseled effect.
Yes, for sure.
Right? Now, if you want a skinny nose,
Who doesn't, right?
Yeah, who doesn't? I'm going to teach you the easiest, like a little cheat sheet. Okay?
Right.
If I can teach like 14-year-olds to do this, we can learn.
You do regularly teach them to do it.
Yes.
I know.
So I'm going to take some of that highlight powder, the transparent highlight powder, in my beauty blender. And we're going to do something called baking.
Okay.
Have you ever heard of that term? It's gotten super popular because
Not
Kim
in
Kardashian.
either the kitchen or
Yeah,
in this
not
term.
the kitchen, yeah. Girl, you know I don't cook.
I know, right? We're
I'm not doing any of
simpatico
that
on
baking.
that. So what is this Kardashian baking?
Okay, so right here, what you want to do is you just barely tap it on the skin so it looks like flour.
Okay.
So the term baking is not for how long it sits there, but because it just kind of looks like flour.
Okay.
So what you're going to do is do a thin line on top of the nose, and then you're going to follow your contour right next to it. It's a great way to make sure to give you a skinny nose and a straight nose.
Okay.
Because sometimes when girls do it, they get a crooked nose.
We got to start all over.
Yeah, and
Your whole face.
Yeah, your whole face. So I'm just going to use a small crease brush.
Okay.
Tap 2 taps of my contour and tap it out. And all you have to do is follow that line. Make sure to use the top of the brush. I like to start at the eyebrow so it looks more believable. And one stroke, no padding.
And you're using the highlighter powder, right?
This is the contour.
I'm sorry, the contour powder.
Yeah.
Darker, yes.
Right. And I left the highlight, that powder, right there in the center.
middle, okay.
Yeah, so that way I can use that as like my ruler. So I could just be right next to
Gave
it.
you a guide.
Exactly. And then since it's see-through, when you're finished, by the way, go all the way down to the tip of the nose.
Okay.
If you want to make the nose look shorter, you can contour the bottom part.
Perfect.
And I can show you a little trick too to make the lips look bigger with contour as well. A lot of
Man,
people don't know that
Contour
trick.
can do a lot of things.
Heck yeah.
Good
It's
stuff.
like a whole new face.
I like it.
Who needs plastic surgery when you
That's
can
right.
contour? So I'm just going to take my highlight brush and just, since that's see-through, that powder is completely see-through, you just flick it away and it's nude and it won't leave any.
It goes right away.
Yeah, it goes right away. So now we've just contoured the side of the nose, creating like a natural shadow that will kind of pinch the nose in.
Good.
And you notice I went all the way down towards the ball of the nose.
Yep.
All right. Now I'm going to show you what you can do to make the nose or the lips look bigger.
Yay.
This is a fun
This is
trick.
what's really bad. You know, when you get over 50, I was looking one time in the mirror and I thought, man, do I have some like dark hairs? And I kept wanting to wax my lip more. I was like, this is ridiculous. And I finally realized they were wrinkles.
Yeah.
I can't get rid of those.
Yes.
Tiny little wrinkles above my lips.
Yeah, because we lose volume and collagen
Doggone.
in all the skin, not just lips, even the ears, like
Yes,
I was
exactly.
saying earlier, even the ears. All right, so I'm just going to use a smoky shader brush. It's just basically all you need is like a flat brush.
Okay.
I'm going to tap 2 taps of contour. You notice I haven't changed the color. It's still the same color. If you want to create a little pout on the bottom of the lip, the bristles go straight up. And we're going to darken the bottom part of the lip. And it will naturally create a shadow, which will give the illusion that the lip is tilted down. Do you notice how I'm just going up into the lip and not onto the skin?
Yeah.
Is that not the coolest?
Total difference.
I know, right?
Which is beautiful.
Yeah, and make sure just that the brush, though, is not facing the skin. You want it to just hit right at the bottom part of the lip to create that lip pout. Okay.
I like
Now,
that. That's a
yeah,
good
it's
tip.
really, it's just an illusion, right?
Yeah.
So right here in the Cupid's bow, the Cupid's bow is this like little M shape right here. And to create more of a lip flip, like it's flipped up, I'm going to darken right between the Cupid's bow. I'm going to do one tap of contour. I'm going to hold my brush not wide but narrow and just add a little bit of contour right there. Just so I can create a little shadow. So again, it'll make the lip look more flipped up.
I like it.
I know. And
Good.
when we go, I'll teach you some other cool stuff about highlighting. Actually, I'll let you highlight your lip. How about that?
Okay.
So we're going to take this color sand. I want you to take one of your fingers, just lightly rub it. Good. And I want you just to relax the mouth. And what you're going to do is you're just going to barely hit the Cupid's bow.
Okay.
So you don't want to tuck the lip under. You just want to relax the Cupid's bow and then hit the top of it.
Okay.
Good. And remember, you only want to hit the edge of the Cupid's bow, not the mustache. Yes.
Just the, okay.
Yeah. Not the mustache, not the whole.
Not the wrinkled mustache.
No, we don't want that part. Perfect. So what you're doing is when you relax the mouth, you got to make sure it's not straight, and you're hitting the edge of that Cupid's bow. You're highlighting it, and anything light we talked about lifts up. So it'll make sure to lift the lip up. Just make sure that you don't hit the contour that's in between the middle. Okay. It's a great, easy way to highlight. Another easy way to highlight is if you do the same thing, we can highlight the nose.
Okay.
Good. And then you're going to...
The middle?
Yeah. Good. Just right down the center. Good. And then hit the very, very top of that nose. And that will create that nice dewiness on top of the skin. So when light bounces off, it'll kind of create soft dewiness. You see it?
Yeah.
There's no color to the highlight. It just creates a soft
Catches the light.
Yeah. It's really great when the skin is dry to make sure that you get that nice little dewiness back into the skin, that glow back to the
Cindy
skin.
taught me a new term in the car on the way here. What do you call it? Glowing up?
Yeah.
So apparently that's a new thing, glowing up.
Yeah.
So we're
I don't think
doing
it's that new. I think you're a little behind.
Oh, man, okay, so it's not new. I'm just
I
behind.
literally just said she glowed up and she was like, what is that?
I was like, I could make some assumptions, but I've not heard it, so I'm not going to pretend I did.
I love that. So I'm just going to use a spoolie, bend it. We're going to brush out the eyebrows.
Okay.
And you have microblading,
Yes.
but let's talk about if someone does not have it.
Thanks to you giving me that recommendation in the past. I need to look into it.
Oh, it's great, right? Isn't it
I
wonderful?
love it. Yes.
All right, so I'm going to show you how to use, well, most people don't have microblading, so this is why I'm going to show you how to just like paint in the brow a little bit. All right. Have you ever heard of brow gel before?
Yes.
All right. Good. All right, so we're going to use some brow gel with a soft angled brush. And you always want to make sure your brows match here, the base, not this part, the root. So
Of your
make
hair.
sure it matches the root. Yeah. So I'm using like a cool taupe, which is more like a strawberry blonde.
Okay.
Okay. And if you think of your eyebrows like a mountain, we want to create a strong base of the mountain. So you're going to go from the base, and then you got to go like up to the peak. Imagine a nice straight line going up to the peak.
Okay.
And if, let's say, you have no eyebrows, you can always use the eyebrow stencil, which is a plastic piece you put on the
Shape it.
brow, and it's shaped, and you just fill it in.
Good deal.
Yeah. So now we're going to go on the peak of the eyebrow and down. And then don't ever fill in the very, very front of the eyebrow on the top. You just want to kind of leave that place clean. So now I'm on top of the brow, and I'm going up to the peak. I call it like the peak of the mountain. Okay, then I'm going to fill it in. Whenever you're filling in the eyebrow, you want to fill in from the back of the eyebrow first. That way when you come up to the front, you start running out of color. And then you gradient the color, which means you just use the leftover on the front of the eyebrow, because every eyebrow on the inside is kind of faded. It's not super thick.
Okay.
So you always want to gradient that brow. Very similar to what you did with your face, right? The contour. All makeup is gradiented in. It's always darker on the outer perimeter and lighter on the inside.
Darker here.
No.
Lighter there.
Darker on the outside, lighter on the
Darker
inside.
here, coming in lighter. Okay.
Yeah, so again, I'm going to start at the bottom of the brow. I'm going to go up to the peak.
That makes sense because people that get made fun of for like their eyebrows usually just are doing a lot right
Yes,
here.
on the inner. Yeah. And you don't want to do that inner. Actually, you should barely have anything on the inner. You want it mainly filled in on the back end, and I call it like, you can do little fake strokes like on the bottom of your brush, just kind of flicking up to
Hairline.
create, so that way you're creating what looks like to be hairs in the front. You don't want to overly fill that in. Yeah, it should always be lighter towards the inside. So no matter what, when you grab
And I think
pigment-
that's the opposite of most people's instinct. That's why I was kind of going back and saying, did I hear that right?
Yeah, so most people grab color and they go
Start heavy
straight to
there,
the
yes.
inside, which actually it's better to start a little behind and a little behind that inside. You don't want to do that. You want to do the inside last. That should be the last area.
When you have the least amount of color left on the brush.
Exactly.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And then you always want to spool. Even if you're using powder, if you're not using gel, you still always want to spool out.
And I still have to use mine really as kind of a stencil anyway, because you never
Yes.
keep full amount of color in your microblading.
Even microblading, you still have areas where you have
do.
spots. It's
Yeah.
not going to be fully filled. So, I'm going to talk about primer on the eyelid. It's important to wear primer on your eyelids if you're wearing eyeshadow, because it creates a creaseless, smooth eyeshadow, and it makes it sweat proof and creaseless. It won't come off at the end of the day.
Gotcha.
Right? So I'm going to use my eye and lip primer, and then I'm going to put it on with a concealer brush. This is called a cream shader. To be able to tell a concealer brush, they'll be super shiny. You see how shiny that
It
is?
is, yeah. It's real glossy.
Yeah, a lot of times people are like, how do I know what's the concealer brush? It's the one that's super shiny, almost feels like plastic. It will not absorb any cream pigment at all.
Okay.
And if you were to put, let's say, eyeshadow powder with it, it would not stick to it.
Okay.
Right, so
That's what it's going to work with,
yeah. So I'm going to add just a little bit of this. And I would tell you to always take your primer and carve out underneath the eyebrows first. So you're going to notice I'm going to kind of like carve it out. And right now you have a few little hairs that need to be groomed at the bottom, but that's okay. You can just use your primer and come underneath and it will actually cover those.
Okay.
And let's say if you messed up at all, like on the top, you can even use that primer on the top to like clean out your edges as well.
Yeah.
It's really great. I love eye primer.
Because they're rarely perfect when you are doing it by hand.
Yeah, right. Or if you messed up,
Which
it's
I do.
nice. This makes it goof proof because you just go through and clean it up. Now, if you did not want to wear eyeshadow, you just wanted a clean lid, and some people, their eyelids, yours are not like that, but some people have very red or veiny eyelids, blue as well. You can still wear a primer and just set it with powder. You don't even have to wear eyeshadow, and it will at least make the lids all one color and nice and bright.
Okay. A little more finished look, even if it's not a more made up look.
So like a lot of my nurses, when they go into surgery, they can't wear eyeshadow. They'll still do their eyebrows, and they'll still wear an eye primer because they want to still look like they're half awake when they're going into work.
Right. Good point.
But they can't be fully finished. They can't have a full face in surgery. So there you go. So that makes it nice and bright. Pretty,
More
right?
finished off, yeah.
Yeah.
I like it.
Now, what eye do you want me to teach you? Probably the most requested eye is always a smoky eye. But do you want me to teach you a classic eye or a smoky eye? Which one?
If the most requested is the smoky eye, we're doing the smoky eye.
Okay, yeah, that's definitely the most. Everybody wants to learn how to do a smoky eye.
Let's do it.
All right. Let's talk a little bit about baking. That we did down
More
the
baking?
nose.
I gotta cook some more on my face. Okay.
No, I'm going to talk a little bit about that.
Okay.
Whenever you're using a darker pigment, so let's just say if we were using like one of these darker shadows, whenever you're using darker shadow, there's something that you can do called baking, and you can bake underneath the eyes. Now, what I mean by underneath the eyes, remember, drop your chin. Go ahead and look straight. So do you remember that triangle shape we did that was like this shape? You could actually bake just like that kind of shape underneath the eyes, but you don't want to force it into the skin.
Okay.
It's not supposed to be part of the makeup. You would just tap softly and move on.
Okay.
So like this. I have a little bit of it on my brush, on my sponge, and I'm going to barely tap.
And it's just the highlight powder again?
Yeah, and you notice how it's loose. You barely feel me touching the skin, right?
Barely.
Yeah, and you don't even go over it twice. You just tap and move on.
Okay.
And you want to apply it wherever you think you can get fallout. So where eyeshadow could fall down and hit and stain.
Yeah.
It's too hard to clean up, right?
I remember you teaching Celie how to do this. I just didn't know it was baking.
Yeah, it's called baking.
Because it's like you're putting flour kind of on your face.
Pretty
and you
much.
flick it off. Okay.
Exactly. But it should be so loose that when you touch it, see, look, it just flicks away. And if it does not flick away like that, that means you're pushing it too hard.
You're pushing too hard, and it's going to then affect the color of your skin or your face.
Right, you're making it part of the makeup.
Right.
So we don't want it to be underneath the eyes or look dry. So you want to make sure it's just leaving a barrier between the foundation and fallout.
The whole point of this is we're fixing to get some crumbs for my
Yes,
baking
exactly,
on
yeah.
my face.
Yes,
And
exactly.
we're going to be able to flick them
Yeah,
off.
and I don't usually get fallout when I'm doing it, but I've been doing it a long time.
Right.
So, but most
The rest
people
of us do.
are going to get it. Yes, they are going to get it.
Little crumbs of eyeshadow that fall down below our eyes and end
Yeah,
up smearing.
it's called fallout.
Okay, fall.
Yeah, fallout. Yeah.
I like that.
All right. So, whenever you're applying makeup on your upper lids, it's important that you pull your chin up. That's super important because if the chin is down, bring your chin down. You don't really have room. Go and open the eye. You don't really have room for the brush, and you're going to get the color too high. So it's better to have chin up. That way you have room for the brush. Whenever you're working on the bottom of the eye, the chin will go down. That way fallout will come down here and not into the eye.
Okay.
Okay.
That makes sense.
You got it?
Yes.
All right. So I'm going to take a color from my nude palette. This color is called Navajo Brown. And I'm going to use an all-over shader brush. If you have a heavier hand, you want to use a smaller brush than this. So you would want to use something a little smaller.
Okay.
Like this. So most people do have a heavier hand, so I'll just use the smaller to show you. I'm going to softly wiggle this, just barely wiggle, and then you can just tap out any excess. You don't have to push a lot of the color into the side part of the brush. What we're going to do is we're going to start at the lashes, and there's a little trick. What you want to do is you want to start at the lash and keep patting, which we talked about that stippling motion. You want to pat and feel for the socket. Now, what you don't want to do is lift the eyebrow. So let me tell you why. If you lift the eyebrow and you apply the color, then when you drop the eyebrow, it's going to be lower.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah, so you want to
That's
just...
a habit you've seen, obviously, people want to do.
Yes.
Okay.
And then I'll do one side of their face, they do the other half, and they're like, why isn't it the same? Because you lift your eyebrow. When you walk into a room, your eyebrows are not lifted. And as a makeup artist, when we're doing your face, we don't ask you to lift your eyebrows. We just say, can you pull your chin up? So what you want to do, again, I'm just going to wiggle, shake out. I'm going to pat, starting at the lashes, and I'm just going to feel for the socket. I'm going to allow that tip of that brush to just feel for the socket of the eye. Now, do not ever let your color pass the corner eye and corner eyebrow. Okay? If you think that's going to happen,
I remember you showing a business card trick.
a business card. I have mine in
That's
plastic.
good.
I'll give you this one. You're going to want this because you could just flick it out. You would hold the card from the corner eye to the top of the temple near the eyebrow, and you would just pat. This is a great way to kind of tape off, so that way you
don't accidentally end up out here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, the smoky eye is actually the easiest eye to do.
Good.
The classic eye is the hardest.
Okay.
And the smoky eye is the sexiest. It's
Well,
really
let's
the
go for the
easiest to
sexy
do.
one.
Yeah. So again,
Why
I'm
not?
going to wiggle. Just lightly shake that out. I'm going to hold that card right here. And we're going to start at the lashes. And I'm going to pat. Do you notice I'm not wiping?
Yeah. You're patting, not
I'm
smearing.
patting.
You've not smeared anything all day.
No,
You've got to get out of the
haven't.
smearing habit.
So let me show you why you don't smear. So if I was to brush, see the fallout? And it ends up all over the face.
Yeah.
So you don't. You just want to lightly pat.
Okay.
All right? So you got to be careful with brushing because sometimes you'll be like, gosh, I had already put a light color there. Now why is it dark? It's because you did that flicking motion.
Like a little kid, if you teach them how to broom, the first thing they do is
Right,
up
yeah.
in the air, right? And
Everywhere.
everything goes everywhere. It's
Well,
the
it's
same
the same
motion
thing,
you're showing.
Same motion, yeah.
Okay.
So again, I'm going to pat, starting at the lashes, and pat and feel for the socket. Now the reason why we start at the lash is because I want you to start to run out of color as you come up to the socket. So again, you gradient the color upwards. So you don't have that harsh line into the socket. We want it to be dark right here at the lashes, and then by the time you come up to the socket, there's barely any color on your brush.
So you're not ever starting in the middle for this look. It's
No.
always at the lash and
Always at
moving
the
up.
lash and moving up, yeah. So the lash will have the most color. That will be the darkest, and then it gradients up, and it's the lightest. Now, where to stop on the inside? A lot of times people ask me that. I'm going to open your eye. Good. You don't want to be on the flat bridge by the nose. Don't put any color from the corner eye to eyebrow. You just want to literally feel for the socket. So the part of the eye that blinks. This is called the mobile eye. You want to
mobile eye.
only put it into the mobile eye.
If it doesn't move, we're not putting color on it.
Exactly. Right.
Okay.
Now, let's say you have a heavy lid. And what I mean by that, like the skin kind of folds down and is a little heavy on the
Yeah.
eye. You could actually bring the chin level and look straight into the mirror, and whatever was hanging down, you want to make sure to hit right on top of that. Because remember, anything dark will pull back, pulls in, right?
That's right.
So you
We
got to
want it
make
to go
sure,
back.
you want to make sure you don't put any light colors there because it'll
Yeah.
pull that heaviness further down,
Yeah.
right? So then again, you just look straight and then feel for the socket of the eye.
Is that what they talk about when you always, on TV, would hear about middle-aged women getting their eyes done?
Yes.
Get rid of all that loose skin?
Yeah, there's a procedure. It's done inside the office. It takes like 45 minutes. It's not even done under a local. They just give you a little numbing cream, actually. It's not
Really?
painful. Yeah, they cut it and sew it up. You're a little bruised afterwards, but yes.
That sounds like very investable.
Yeah, it's
I
about
want extra skin there.
It's actually very inexpensive. I think it's like $2,500.
Hey,
pretty cheap.
That's a round of
To get
Botox
a nice,
and fillers right
yeah,
there.
exactly. To get a nice lift.
Yeah.
All right, so something whenever you're doing a smoky eye. Whatever color you use in the mobile eye, you want to bring on the bottom of the eye.
Okay.
Okay, so you'd use that kind of like as an eyeliner,
Okay.
but it's going to create a softer look. All right? So we're going to use a little detailed brush. It's called the Detailed Shader Brush. See how small and little it is? So in your mobile eye, we use this Navajo Brown. I'm going to tap 2 taps, shake it out. The chin goes down.
That's right.
Yeah. And then you'll just use the tip. And I like to say, act like you're erasing something on paper. Short strokes. You never want to pat the color because if you do, you're going to get fallout and you're really not melting it into the skin. So you want to spend a little bit of time buffing it in.
Okay.
Because then at the end of the day, you'll be like, where is this coming from? Where am I getting this eyeshadow fallout from? It's because they were patting it. So you don't pat. You're going to smudge it in like you're erasing something on paper. So short strokes. And this is going to create an eyeliner effect, but much softer.
It is.
Isn't that prettier? Yeah. Especially too, I get clients too, the older they get, their hands tend to shake or they have tremors in the hands. This is a great way to get a nice, soft, smooth look if you're having problems like putting on eyeliner.
Okay.
I actually do not prefer eyeliner on the bottom of the eye. I'm okay with tight lining into the waterline, but I don't like any cream on the outside of the eye because as it gets warm, it seeps down. So
And by
I
that,
prefer-
you mean like on top of the lash then, if it's to the waterline?
inside
Under.
inside the waterline, I'm okay with tight lining as long as it's waterproof.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm just going to again smudge it into the lashes, small strokes, and this will create like a smoky bottom eyeliner.
Nice.
Easy, right?
You made it look easy.
Yeah, it's not difficult. All right, we're going to do something now called cutting your crease.
Okay.
Whenever you're picking a crease shade, chin up for me, you want to make sure to pick a shade that's going to be 2 shades lighter than the mobile eye.
Okay.
All right?
Smoky starts dark, and now we're going up lighter.
Exactly.
Okay.
Oh, and let me give you another little tip. So, as makeup artists, so you see this palette here. As makeup artists, we don't separate our palettes. What I mean by that is if you ever notice makeup artists, we just have palettes all over.
Yeah.
Right? We don't separate cheek color from eyeshadow. We
Good
don't.
point. Yeah.
Anything that's in a palette, you can use anywhere on the face.
Okay.
So you can use contour and highlight as eyeshadows, even if you want. You
I
can
wouldn't have
even
thought.
use blushes.
Okay. I like that.
Yeah.
Multifunctional.
It's so easy. So I'll show you an example because a lot of times girls are afraid to use the blush, but you can.
Okay.
So I'm just going to take our lightest blush here. It's called Natural. I'm going to tap 2 taps and then I always tap it out. And we're going to cut our crease. Again, if you think you're going to go outside, you're going to
Get
use
your business card.
business card. Good. And then you're not going to lift up the eyebrow. I know that's a hard thing not to do. Chin up. We're going to start from the outer corner. And remember how we did our contour? We stayed out there a little bit longer, remember?
Yes.
Before we blended it in.
Yes.
So we're going to do the same thing.
More color on the outside than the in.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
So we're going to gradient that inwards and stay right into that crease. And that will help soften that bone, that crease,
Yeah.
that little socket.
And you went roughly couple of shades lighter.
Yeah,
Then
2
the
shades
darker.
lighter. And again, I'm going to do the outer corner crease. And then cut it. And that's going to help soften that mobile eye color so that there's no harsh lines.
Perfect.
That's easy, right?
I like that.
All right, now we're going to add a little highlight color. That's optional. You wouldn't have to if you didn't want to. But we'll add a little highlight color.
Okay. Kind of
and-
under the brow.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to highlight it. You can choose to do a shimmer or not. So I'll show you a little shimmer.
This is a different brush or one we've
Yeah,
been
different
using?
brush. This one is called a petite crease.
Okay.
And I'm going to do it in 2 ways. Chin up for me. So whenever you work on the upper eye, you're going to lift up.
Okay.
So I'm going to put it in the inner corner, like the tear duct area, like if you're doing like a letter C. So I'm going to open. Yeah, I'm going to do the top and bottom, highlight it, and then I'll do the arch. You want to make sure that this is just sitting right underneath the eyebrow. It's going to highlight it just a little bit. Mm-hmm. It's a great way to give nice lift to the eyebrow, especially if somebody's eyebrows maybe set a little low. Mm-hmm. It's a really great way to help
give
lift.
a little space there in the eye. Good.
Yeah, to really help lift. There you go. Questions?
I like it. No.
Okay, so let's talk about liner. Okay. Liner, you can use powder, pencil. What do you usually use?
Powder.
Powder, yeah. I do too.
So.
Mm-hmm. So if you have lash extensions, it's best to always use powder too.
Okay.
A lot of people have lash extensions nowadays, so you definitely want to use a powdered liner.
What's your opinion on lash extensions?
I love lash extensions. I feel like I look like a girl in the mornings. So I love them.
Yes.
But you have to be able to maintain them.
Yes.
Right? So do you have the time to maintain them? You have to get them done like every 3 weeks. I prefer to use a lash strengthener conditioner with mine so that when I do go for a break without them, I don't look like a bald eagle. So I like my lashes to still be fortified and nice and thick. Now that I do use that primer with mine, I only have to get mine filled every once a month.
That's not as bad.
No,
that's a lot better.
But you have to invest in the $100 conditioner as well.
One or the other, okay.
So it does get costly. Mm-hmm. It's kind of expensive.
And you have to find someone good, obviously, right? Because we've all heard horror stories if you don't get a professional.
Yeah, you do want to find somebody good. And then you got to be able to take that time out to maintain, because if you don't maintain them, they're not very attractive. When you have like 6 long lashes just coming out.
Yeah, that's bad. I've seen that look.
It's not pretty.
It's not good.
No. All right, we are going to apply a liner to your lash line. I'm going to use a wing liner brush. You want to make sure it's a skinny wing liner brush. And I'm going to use a black brown. Yeah. It should be thin, not thick. Yeah. Whenever you're using it, they always have a point. Some of them are flat. You can use those as well. It's called a flat definer brush. You always want to make sure the point, chin up for me. Yeah, the point is going to go outwards, and then when you come to the middle, you're going to flip it. So the brush is always flat. So I'm going to just lightly, I'm not going to pull too hard on the eye, and I call it stamping. All I want to do is just lightly stamp a line. You're going to notice I am not pressing hard, right? I'm barely touching. The eyeliner is called cake eyeliner. The reason why it's called cake is if you apply water to it or sealant to it, it will turn to liquid liner. Cake liner has been around since like the 20s. So you literally just add a little water to it and you can draw liqued liner if you're a liquid liner
We're
fan.
baking anyway, so it's appropriate with a cake liner.
Yeah, exactly. I never thought of that.
I'm hungry. Just don't.
It's funny, I never thought of that. All right, so I'm just going to stamp a nice thin line right on the lash line. And then I'll do the other eye.
Okay.
I prefer powdered liner over liquid liner any day.
Yeah.
I just think it's more natural.
Yeah, exactly.
Soft. You get a nice straight line. And it's forgivable. You know, and like if you're doing a liquid liner, like if you mess up, you just got to go with it and do the other side thicker too.
Yeah. It's a thick liner day.
It's like a thick liner day. We're going for a cat eye today.
That was on purpose.
Yeah, but with powdered liner, oh no, it's so forgivable. You can literally just come through with a Q-tip and brush it away, or even some eye primer, which is really nice.
Okay.
All right, so have you ever used your lash guard?
I have one. I've used it a time or two, but it's been a long time.
Really?
A long time.
Hey, I love them. I think
maybe I just got too cocky with putting my
I'm gonna get you one so that you can have one back home.
Okay, I need one.
Do you ever use it or no?
No, I don't think I have one anymore.
Oh, you probably lost it. Okay.
Yeah, it's been a while.
You know, I'm a fan of the lash guard.
Yeah, okay. We got to show them what we're talking about here then.
Yes.
Like, what in the world? This newfangled thing.
Before I do the lashes, we've got to get rid of the baking.
Okay.
So this was the
flip.
Yeah, look up for me.
Which brush?
There you go, and chin down. So this is the highlight brush.
Okay.
The one we use to set our highlighted areas. And see how easy it is just to flick that away.
Yeah.
Because
sweeping it off.
Yeah, because we didn't push it. into the skin.
We're sweeping the kitchen floor where we've been making all the powder. Got it right?
Pretty much, yeah.
Let's get this analogy going. Come on.
All right, so this is a lash guard. I love this. So it has little grooves.
Yeah.
And then
lashes.
Yeah. So what happens is as you brush the lashes against it, it puts mascara on the top of the lashes as well. So it makes them look super thick. All you do is place it right where the liner is. You hold firm. I'll let them. So you're gonna hold firm. So all I'm gonna do is place it right on the lash, and then brush my mascara wand right up against it.
Okay.
See how black it makes
Yeah.
them?
So it soaks all the way through more.
Yeah. How do you not use your guard?
I don't think I ever probably worked with it and got the hang of it. And learned to love it then is what I need to do.
It's so wonderful. Yeah. So before you go to the other eye, you always want to just make sure you clean out the guard. Because what happens if you got mascara and then you brought it to the other eye? That would not be good. And let's say if you're one of those and you get mascara all over the top of your lids, this is perfect for you. Or if you have smaller eyelids.
Oh.
Right? Or overhanging skin.
It holds it all back so you can get your...
Yeah, exactly. And that way, you see I'm getting right to the base of the lash.
Yeah.
And you can use it on the bottom. So if you're doing it on the bottom, you would just do chin down, and then you'd place it at the bottom.
Okay. I love that idea.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to give that a new try.
Yeah, I do like 2 coats, so I'm going to do another coat. If you're wearing fake eyelashes, put on mascara first.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's too hard to add it so much.
You can't, yeah, and plus you're going to ruin those pretty lashes. They're supposed to be fluffy, and you don't want to put mascara on them.
Okay. Before.
Yes.
It's a good tip.
Yeah. And people always ask me, so like, when do you like to curl lashes? If I'm going to curl them, I'm going to actually pump them up a little bit when this is almost dry.
Okay.
Because it's hair. You're wetting the hair with mascara. And if you, let's say, curl them before and then you wet them mascara, they'll start to fall. So it's better to wait when they're almost damp. And then when you clamp them with the mascara, it sticks like hairspray.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So you always kind of want to wait, not till they're completely dry, but almost dry. And you will have to make sure to clean your crimper as well, your curler.
Yeah. Nice. And does this have like little filaments or something that make them seem longer or something?
Yeah, so this mascara it has
really good.
lengtheners inside of it, so the more you put on, the longer they look.
Yeah,
You just want to make sure we don't want it to look like spider lashes.
Yeah, right.
Do you know what I'm talking about? That look?
Yeah, where they're just
the
kind
girl-
of spaces all in between, just long.
Really long and wiry.
Long darty.
That's not what we're looking for. So I'm going to show them how to do the bottom, so you can just see the bottom.
Okay.
So to do the bottom, you're just going to place the guard right here. You can just look straight.
Okay.
Good. And chin up just a little bit. Okay. Placing it right here, and we're just going to, you can look up. Here. I'm just going to lightly brush it on those bottom lashes. Like that. It's easy. It protects the bottom of the eyes too, so you don't get it everywhere.
Yeah.
Your lashes are actually pretty long.
They're not terrible. That's probably why I haven't done it.
Yeah.
I'm going to put good mascara on there. They don't look bad.
No, you actually have pretty decent lashes.
And some people I know you've said, yeah, a lot, like maybe, was it Tammy or somebody, some people do and some people don't need bottom mascara. What's the thought there? Everybody's eyes are different. Right?
Yes, yeah. So the smaller your eyes, you don't want it.
Okay.
Bigger the eyes, you can wear it. But if you have small eyes, you don't want to wear it. That's a very good point. Right now, I'm just cleaning up just from talking a little bit.
That's why everybody needs their own custom lesson, because then you're going to know if you got the big eyes or the small eyes or the big forehead or the little forehead.
So the hard thing is when you're watching YouTube, you'd have to have somebody or watch somebody who has the same facial features as you.
Right. Which doesn't exist.
It's possible.
It doesn't, no.
So that's why people are like, I never learned from YouTube. That's really, really hard. And they have to have the same kind of skin texture when you're using the same products, right?
Yeah, no, it makes sense.
Yeah. All right, so let's talk about blush. All right, when you are applying blush, I apply blush from the back side forward, not from the front. So most people will grab blush and they'll smile, right? And they start here. I prefer to gradient it forward.
I think we're getting a theme.
Everything goes lighter to the inside,
Yeah.
right? Everything's going to go lighter to the inside.
Okay.
So I'm going to take my sheared cheek brush, just make sure I kick out any excess. And I prefer to use the sheared cheek brush because of that contour that's right there. The color's going to kind of blend into that. And not blend over it, but it's going to have a soft overlay.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to take my day blush, the one I cut your crease with, 2 taps.
My middle eyeshadow.
Mm-hmm. And then I'm going to start here. Here's your contour. I'm going to be right on the edge. Smile for me. And we're going to end at the front. Again, it's darker to the back, lighter to the front.
Perfect.
Okay? Not rosy, rosy, rosy cheeks.
Yeah.
You know, our grandmothers who would just like
Mhm.
pile it on
In the
top
middle.
of it. Yeah. Smile. My grandma would take lipstick sometimes.
Or they called it rouge, too.
Yeah. And she'd just use it everywhere.
Mhm.
On the eyes, everywhere. All right, so when you're looking at it, should be, when you're looking at your face, it's contour, blush, and then you can, optional, you can add a little highlight.
Mhm.
Okay? That's optional.
Gotcha.
So I'll show you how to do that. Remember our highlight brush earlier we used?
Mm-hmm.
For underneath the eye? Do you remember that little highlighter we put on the lip? And
Yeah.
right there. I'm going to take that same highlighter. It's sand right here. I'm going to tap 2 taps. Smile for me. But I'm going to hit right on the top of the cheek. And just highlight a little over that apple. Just to give you a little bit of a glow when you smile. Now, we don't want disco ball cheeks.
Yeah, okay.
We want them to glow, but not super. I don't want them to look like liquidy. Shiny.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Don't go too crazy.
Yeah, don't go too crazy.
But it's good for photography, right? I
Yes.
remember you saying there's certain
Mhm.
things that'll catch the light. And look
Yeah,
nice.
we want it to catch the light because, again, it's smile thick. Good. It's going to give you a nice, dewy glow.
Perfect.
Isn't that pretty?
Mm-hmm. I like that.
I know. All right, now let's talk about lip liner.
Okay.
You want to always smile when you're applying lip liner.
Okay.
We got to make sure that lip liner's wax,
Yeah.
right? So we got to make sure we stay within the lines.
Mhm.
Always make sure your lip liner is sharpened.
That's a good idea.
We don't want it dull.
It's going to smear. Again, that smear word. It's going to smear out below otherwise.
Yes, or it's going to create more of a fatter line, and we want a thin line.
Okay.
All right. So you're going to smile. Good. And I know some ladies like to really outline the lip. I prefer to stay in the line and just highlight like I showed you earlier. Very important to smile too, because if you don't smile, watch, relax your mouth. I'm just going to use this other end, and the lip is going to move.
Oh, that also makes it tight.
Yeah, it's going to shift.
It's a better line than.
Yeah, it'll be nice and clean, right?
Yeah.
And I like to create like this nice little V in the center, and then round out that V to create some height, and then come all the way to the corner. Now, the bottom, remember I made it a little fuller? I'm going to come a little lower at the bottom
Mm-hmm.
to give you a little bit more pout. Come all the way into the corners too, don't stop short.
Mm-hmm.
Got it?
Yeah, that helps a lot.
Mm-hmm. Now, if you want the center of the lip to look fuller, there is a trick that you can do. You can take your liner and darken the outer corners. Like this.
Mm.
And again, we're going to ombre the lip. So it'll be lighter in the center,
Mm-hmm.
darker towards the outer corner, and that will make the lip look poutier in the center.
So it's a little thicker there, and
Yeah.
you didn't finish it in the middle.
Yeah, you just don't touch it.
It's a great trick.
It's easy. Great way to make it look fuller. All right. I think you've used this lip gloss before. Your lips are kind of dry, so this has coconut oil in it. Color's called, it's like the perfect pink.
So
XOXO.
I have, yeah.
It's a great color.
Gotten it from you.
Smile. Good. Put this on the lip. Again, I'm going to hit the centers, and then I'll do the outers last.
Okay.
This is so great too, the coconut oil. You can smell it.
Oh, yeah.
It's 85% coconut oil. And be careful too when you do rub the lips together, because you never want to go over your lip line. So just lightly pat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you don't want to ruin that pretty lip line. Look how gorgeous that looks.
Yeah, I like that a lot. And it
Super
smells
pretty.
great.
Doesn't it? I know, it smells super good. So let's talk about, like, if you're going to go out at night, how to, like, amp this up.
Yeah.
Let me take your hair down just so you
Please
can
do.
really see it. Okay, so let's talk about if you're going to go out at night. If you're going to go out at night, you want to use a little deeper contour.
Okay.
Richer. So I'm going to use a little darker. The color's called Truffle. I'm going to show you what I mean by that. You're only going to add it darker just in the back. So you're not going to really fade it in much.
Okay.
Right? So I'm going to add a little Truffle. And you'll see. I'll add it to the hairline. This would be great too, especially the holidays, right? You're going to parties.
Yeah.
So do you see how I just darkened that
Little
hairline?
more at the hairline, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's one shade darker than the other highlighters. The
That's
same.
2 shades darker.
2 shades darker than our typical highlight.
Contour. Contour, yeah.
Contour. So
Yes.
we're going 2 shades darker to amp it up for holidays or nightlife or
Exactly.
a little more glam.
Yeah, because most of the time you're going to have flash photography, or it's going to be a little dimmer, a little darker.
People can't believe the difference that makes. I remember when
Huge.
Celia was doing the pageants, she would come out looking like we had just changed her ethnicity. She'd be so incredibly dark. And you put her on the stage and she barely looked like she was tan.
Yeah, it barely.
Just the lights,
yeah,
right?
and barely look like
couldn't
you have any
believe.
makeup, right?
Exactly.
And the same thing, flash photography sometimes will blow out all your features.
Yeah.
So you want to add a little depth towards the back
Makes
end
sense.
part of the face. So you see I just did the hairline. I did not touch your temples because
No.
those are dipped in.
Yeah.
And then right here, just at the back of the ear, I'm going to make it a little bit warmer.
Mm-hmm. You didn't go all the way out.
No.
Just at the very edges.
Just at the very, very back.
This is the accentuating the most
Right.
extreme areas.
Yeah, and then you're not going to do the jawline because that still has to match you for like every day,
Okay.
right? You want to make sure the jawline, and then you don't want to go darker on the nose or the lip or the top of the lip or the bottom because then it'll start to look kind of dirty.
Okay.
You don't want
So this
that.
is really just for this area and this area.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So the
The
back
drama.
of the hairline, just to add a little bit of that depth, and then the back part of the under the cheekbones. Okay. We're also going to make sure we're going to darken the bottom part of the eyebrows only for nighttime.
Okay.
So we're going to add a little bit of depth there.
Okay.
Okay. So I use like a strawberry blonde, but I'm going to use a brown.
Okay.
And I'm going to use a powder. And just at the bottom, you'll automatically see what it does to the shadow. It's going to make it, the eyeshadow pop even more. And you're going to notice I'm only going to do the bottom. Now, I have some women that still like to do this during the day. It's just preference,
Okay.
really. I'm going to darken just that bottom half of the brow. Barely filling it up to the middle.
And that's with a darker shade than
Yeah,
what we
so do
before?
you see the difference? You got a day
Yes.
brow and an evening brow. It's going to
Yeah.
be a little bit more defined.
And you went with a darker,
Darker brown.
yes.
I
just a shade or
didn't
two
touch the
darker.
top part of the color because
Gotcha.
I want to make sure it still matches your
the bottom
hair.
half,
Just
okay.
the bottom half with the dark brown. So that makes it pop, right?
Oh, it really does. I like that.
Okay, so let's talk about tight lining.
Tight lining. Oh, that's the stuff in the water area of your eye.
The waterline, yes.
Waterline.
Waterline. I like to say if you are over 40, don't use black.
Okay.
Use brown. Stay in that because black is just a little too harsh.
Harsh. Okay.
Too harsh. So I prefer you to use brown. I'm going to use a color called brownstone. It's between black and brown. And you could actually tightline the top waterline for daily. That will make the lashes look thicker.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I'll show you
Good.
that first, and then I'll show you. Chin up for me. Since you have eye primer on, you could literally touch all over your lid. Look down at the floor. Good. I'm going to tightline your upper waterline. Look this way, please. Thank you. This right here will actually make the lashes appear thicker and darker. You can already tell by looking.
Yeah.
And it also lifts. Look
Yeah,
at
it
the
does.
difference between this eye and that eye. It will lift the eye upwards. It's really amazing just tightlining. You can do that during the day as
Yeah.
well.
Okay.
But for nighttime, you definitely want to do your upper and your lower. Look this way for me. I'm just touching all over your lids. By the way, I don't have to worry about any of the eyeshadow coming off because you have eye primer on.
That's crazy.
It's going to stay.
That's really good. Yeah.
But it's nice, right?
Yeah,
you
that's
you want it
wonderful.
to stay.
Oh, you just touched that right, like no big deal. I mean,
Yeah, no, yeah, and it's not going to...
most times that would have taken off all of your makeup. That would
Yeah,
have been
but
done
you
for
have
the
to
day.
wear primer. Yeah. If you didn't have primer on, it would definitely
Then we wouldn't
slip
do that.
off.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, so chin down. We're going to tight line for nighttime. Look all the way up. Great. And I'm not making it super dark. Again, I'm using brown.
Okay, perfect.
Just a tight line.
No, I
Look
like
all
it.
the way up. Perfect. Now, some people have an allergy to color red. If you have to red coloring, make sure not to use purple or any plum liners.
Okay.
Okay. Now you see how that just created like a little softer, smoky eye, but still not too dramatic, but just enough pop.
And the colors are all very natural. That's what I
Yeah.
like. I mean, you know, I think people, at least from my generation here, you know, makeup, and if they start thinking anything that's very heavy, they start picturing the blues and
Yeah,
the
no,
green
please
creases and all the crazy. This is all very natural
Please
colors to
don't.
enhance
Yeah.
our natural beauty, right?
Yeah, so I used my nude kit, which is, again, very, very neutrals. And this is actually the
this.
color that I put instead of your mobile eye. That color is what I used as your highlighter, and you can also use a matte if you wanted. And then I showed you using a blush, but you could use any of the lighter colors, any of these lighter colors.
And
as
this was
cut
your
crease.
contour and your highlighter as
Contour
well,
and highlighter,
right?
it's all in one. Yeah,
And the nude kit.
Yes, and you could even use the darker browns or plums as your eyeliners, your powdered liner. So it's really great. This is actually what I bring when I'm on vacation. I have a bronze one and a nude one.
Yeah.
And I'll bring them both because it's nice just to slide it in. I only have one palette to pull out instead of a bunch of them.
No, that's so
I
smart.
really love it.
I love
so
that.
we'll use the darker blush. Actually, I'm giving you this to you when you leave, so.
I know, I'm so excited to take this home.
I
and
used to
play.
take this
Now
out.
that's going to be the real trick. Sheila would
I'll
literally
be
always
wa-
tell Celie, do your own makeup and send me the picture tomorrow. So it's always the
Exactly.
big challenge,
I
right?
still do that when I
It's so
have
smart.
lessons. My clients will send me pictures, and I have an app I write on top of their face and tell them what to fix. So I'm kind of
smart.
there along the journey with them.
You are so high tech.
Yeah.
I'm so impressed.
Not that high tech, but
Fix it. Well,
I
because
try.
otherwise people will put it off for a week or two, and then if you don't use it, you lose it.
yeah.
You can't just go, well, I'll use that for some party
Yeah.
next year. I mean, it's
You
gonna
want to know
go
the
on.
good
You
thing
gotta
though
do it.
too? In the private lesson, it's videotaped.
Yes, you always do have it videotaped.
Yeah.
I know we're doing it, but you do that for everybody, right?
Everybody, yeah. So they have the private lesson and they're able to go back and watch it.
It's huge.
So, you know, let's say you're pregnant, you're having kids, and you're not into doing your hair and makeup, or then all of a sudden you go to an event and you just pump in the video and you'll know how to do it.
I can't tell you how many
It's like
times
having me there.
Sheila would always say, like, get this notebook out and write it down. She'd be like, did you write it? Did you write it down? You know?
Yes.
And I still have my notebook. So there's
Yes.
times when I was like, if it's an event, I better dig out my notebook, you know, and
Yeah.
I'd go through it and look.
My
You forget.
youngest daughter, who's 20, I pulled out her notebook the other day when I was setting up her apartment, and all the papers are just falling out of it.
You know.
Yeah, because they have pretty much fallen apart, but she still uses it.
It's like
She's
those
20.
lunch family recipes, back to
Yes.
the baking.
Yeah,
I'm getting
exactly.
ready for Thanksgiving, so I've been looking at our recipes. They're covered in grease.
Right.
You barely read them, but they're
That's
crumpled
what
up.
you're exactly.
Because
That's
they're well
exactly
loved.
what I look. Yeah. It's wonderful to be able to like go back to the videos and go back to that paperwork because it's really timeless. This is a life skill you'll use for the rest of your life.
Such a good investment.
Yeah, it really is. So for nighttime, we're just going to put on a little bit darker blush. Smile. You notice I start at the back, right, and end at the front.
Oh, I like that.
Mm-hmm. And that's the darker blush. Always starting at the back and ending at the front. You always want to make sure. By the way, the reason why you smile, you got to make sure that you don't bring the blush too far into your smile lines, right?
Oh, that'd be bad. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's important to smile. And you also want to make sure that you're hitting the peak of that apple.
Okay.
Okay?
Peek of the cheek.
The peak of
Peek
the
of the
cheek.
cheek. I like that.
Yes. You did so good. Now, do you want me to show you how to darken up the mobile eye just a little bit?
Yeah.
All right. So, let's go with
And this again would be for like,
for nighttime.
yeah, for
Yeah.
jazzing up holidays, nighttime parties.
So, you want me to show the plum color on you?
Yeah, whatever
Yeah,
you think's
you can
good.
do that. Yeah, so I'm going to take the plum color from the kit, the darker color.
From the new kit.
Yeah, from the nude kit. And then we are going to take that same brush. I'm just going to kick off to make sure nothing's in it. And then I'm going to wiggle, same brush, shake. And we're going to start at the lashes. Always the lash. And then move your way up. And you notice I'm patting, no color, past the corner eye and the eyebrow. Now look how pretty that is.
No, that's a great color.
Wiggle. Patting. And as I'm patting, since I am patting and I'm not flicking the color, I'm not going to get a bunch of fallout at the bottom part of the eyes.
Love it.
Which is so nice. Look at that.
I love it. And I remember you saying way back that smoky eye was one of the easier ones to do, but it's
It
the one that
is.
most people seem to like.
So everybody wants the smoky eye, but usually they're terrified. And I'm going to tell you the reason why usually they're terrified is they usually go straight for the dark colors.
The darkest. They start
with black.
That's real smoky.
Yeah, that's real smoky. Yeah, you can actually do even a smoky eye with like a soft brown and still get that effect as long as your cut crease is like a little bit lighter. Yes.
Yeah.
So you don't have to have a smoky eye and go straight for black. It gets quite scary, right? And they're like, oh my gosh, I did it. I look like I had two black eyes.
Yeah.
You can use a softer color and don't be afraid of
Well,
it.
and you always said build up the pigment.
Yes,
So you
yes.
started with one and you went back. You didn't try to get everything in one layer one time.
No, I prefer to
You
start
add it.
with less, and then you can always build. It's just too hard to take away when you apply too dark of a color.
I love it.
So since I put the plum in the mobile eye, I'm just going to smoke out the bottom part of that eye. Remember I told you whatever color's in the mobile eye, we're going to bring on the bottom lashes.
That's right.
So I'm going to tap two
Needs
taps.
to match up better that
It
way.
needs to match, yeah.
Okay.
So the top color has to match up the bottom. I always say whatever color's on the outer corner part of the mobile eye, no matter what color it is, make sure to trace it at the bottom lash.
Perfect. Okay.
So chin down for me. Good. And I'm just going to rub it in. and
Like we're
smudge it.
erasing, right?
Yes.
Feels like.
Yeah, it feels like you're erasing something on paper. And since this color is obviously more pigmented, I won't have to come back and add more color. I'll just tap it that one time.
Okay.
And obviously the lighter color, you would have to come back and pick up more pigment.
Okay.
You want to make sure you're using a really small brush. This is the detailed shader. You want to use a small brush here because the bigger the brush, it would make the line too thick. And we just want it to be narrow and small.
And you do come all the way in.
Till you
Just
see
darker
eyelashes.
here, but
Yes, so when you grab the color, that's actually a great point. Sometimes I'll see women in my lesson, they'll grab the color and they'll start in the middle. You're going to always start on the outer corner. So then by the time you come to the inside, it actually fades in.
yeah. So it's okay to go to the inner corner because you've already run out of 90%.
Exactly, yeah. You want it to kind of
Natural.
sort of fade
Not
in.
a line that's equal all the way across.
Exactly,
Is what we're
right. Yeah, so when you grab the color, you're going to start on the outside and then just
Because your
softly
eyelashes are
fade
that
in.
way. Because if they're growing, they're thicker and longer at the
The
ends,
ends,
and then they
right,
get less
always
and
get
less.
thinner. And
Okay.
same thing with the eyebrow.
I
which
gotcha.
Everything gets lighter to the center.
This is making sense.
Everything. Yeah. Yeah, look how great you did. You did so good.
No, well, you did so good. I just sat here and I enjoyed the process, but
Yeah, but you knew most of the process because you've taken a lesson
it's been a
before.
long time.
Yes,
I don't think
yes.
I've had one since Wes and I got married, which was 5 years ago.
Yeah, so I think I gave
crazy.
you a hair lesson and a makeup lesson.
You did.
We'll have to do a hair curling lesson
I know.
because
The
I get
detail,
that request a lot.
It seems to be baffling to people.
Yeah. Well, what type of iron, what kind, which direction to turn your iron? Should you start at the bottom, the middle, the top? I get all that.
So many tips. I always tell
Yes.
people, I say, if it's been 4 or 5 years, I've forgotten 3/4 of what Sheila told me, but whatever little bit I might get right came from Sheila.
Yeah.
That's what I tell them. If it worked out well, it's from her.
When you posted the before and after picture, remember I said, I met her during the before picture.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
I did.
When I was busy just enjoying being mom to the kids and letting
Yes.
them shine, which as moms, we still want them to do,
Yeah.
but sometimes we don't stop to go, we can shine a little too.
It's really sad because most women who come to me for lessons, they come like after they're empty nesters and all the kids are out of the house because they've done everything for their children and nothing for
so long.
themselves.
Mm-hmm.
They're very selfless, which is
Yeah.
wonderful. But I think it's important to also have a little self-love and self-care.
And that's a great example,
Mm-hmm.
right? I know my girls were always giving me grief back in the day. Mom. Matter of fact, that picture I sent you that was a before, the reason I even posted that, the reason it occurred to me is my older daughter had that picture in her phone. I'll have to add it to this video somewhere because
I was already ready to go.
it's
Take
coming in.
overlay
It's
photo.
bad. But literally one day I'm just driving down doing my thing and I get this text from Savannah that says, OMG, Mom. And this picture of me.
Oh my
Because her thing was
God.
like, what is your deal? Look at
Yes.
you,
Yes.
And
I
she's like,
remember when my
yeah.
youngest was little, she texted me one time and said, hey Mom, are you coming for it was like a meeting. I said, yeah. She goes, make sure to put on all your makeup. And I was like, what is that supposed to mean? Is she embarrassed of me? Like with no makeup on?
Oh, trust me, Savannah was always saying could you try to dress nice? It's a field trip. Could you put on a good outfit? I think, and the thing is, here's what we really need to do. In that photo, people assume that my weight has changed much. I wasn't heavy in that photo.
Yeah.
I was just sitting home like this, and of course I had food in my mouth. It was literally the worst photo ever. But I do look all hunkered
I love
down.
those pictures, don't they?
But that wasn't even the change. I need to do a full body. It was just everything of going little by little. Doesn't have to be drastic. I can
Yes.
start to take better care of my hair and go.
Yeah,
maybe I
and
wanna
better care of the
change it.
skin.
My skin.
And all that. You know what? There's something else I always tell my clients is that I can put makeup on you, but taking care of your skin and maintaining and making sure that you can do at-home facials.
Yeah.
But it's important to take care of your skin because you just don't want to cover it up.
Yep. And
So
we
you wanna
and again, if we don't put ourselves not first above everything, but
Yeah.
first a little bit, right?
Yes,
We've still got to have a
yes.
little care for ourselves. to
Yeah.
take those few minutes out each day, and we don't always do it.
Yeah, I tell my husband I'm a happier wife when I'm taking care of myself a little bit.
Works good for both, doesn't it?
Yeah,
I love it.
yes. So, as you start getting older, yes, you have to maintain, but you can do a lot of that stuff just at your house.
Yeah,
You don't have
absolutely.
to spend a lot of money. There's really so many at-home remedies that you can do.
There are.
And even from this video, people are going to learn and take those little bits and pieces and be like, oh my gosh, look, my face looks slimmer because I learned how to contour on
Those-
video.
Every little tip.
Yeah.
Well, and that would be my next question to you then. If they go, well, this is great, I'm going to take what I can, but I've got a little forehead and different shaped eyes and all
Yeah.
of this, and they want their own lesson, what's the easiest way to reach out to you?
Definitely go to the website. There's a little tab that says request an appointment. Click that. Dolly's always in the office Monday through Friday, and she'll have a little conversation and kind of get some background and ask you, what type of experience do you have with doing your own makeup?
Yeah.
Kind of, we do it like on a 1 to 10 level.
Get a baseline of
Yeah,
where
get
you're
a
going to be.
baseline. Are you
Okay.
at 10? Are you at 1? So then we kind of know what type of lesson, because we have different types of lessons. All the lessons come with all your makeup. So it comes with everything. So you're able to do exactly the same thing when you go home.
That's wonderful. And I know
It
I've got
is.
women that are going to be watching this going, yes, but I'm older. Because you don't ever work with older women, right?
Yes.
course
I
you
do.
do, right?
Yeah, actually, my client that was here right before you came in, Maylin, she's 79. So, yeah.
For her.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love that.
Yeah, and it's great. She told me that her first day she was teaching, she teaches Sunday school, and she said she walked in and one of the ladies said, did you just have work done? And she was like, no, I had a makeup lesson. Yeah.
And I know a lot of women think, maybe they're not older, but maybe they feel like they're heavier because none of us ever. But all of those things can be accentuated to our best self, right?
Yes, absolutely.
You work with Okay, what about if they are women of color? What if they have a different skin type?
That's my favorite client
Yeah.
to work on because you can have so much fun with color.
Mm-hmm.
So, and if you go to my website, you can see I work with all different ethnicities and different types of skin. People have problem skin, facial birthmarks.
Okay.
I teach them how to cover all those as well. Vitiligo, all kinds of those things. So I can teach you how to cover, camouflage, and teach you all the
name
tips
it.
and tricks. Yeah.
Makeupbysheila.com.
Yep.
Perfect. And you're also on Instagram at makeupbysheila.
Makeupbysheila.com and Twitter. Yep, all of it.
She's everywhere. You can't miss her. So thank you so much, my
You're so
friend.
welcome.
You did a wonderful job. But then again,
So
you
welcome.
always do. So. All right, guys, you've seen it from the pro. This is what we've got here, and this is what we have to work with. And I think she did amazing. So thanks y'all for joining.